Stand on the corner with a low down blue, great big hole in the bottom of my shoe. Honey, let me be your salty dog. Let me be your salty dog. I don't wanna be your man at all. Honey, let me be your salty dog. Look here, I know you run down stock and worn out shoe. Honey, let me be your salty dog. Let me be your salty dog. I won't be your man at all. Honey, let me be your salty dog. Sitting in the wildwood, sitting in the wild, finger on the trigger and eye on the hog. Honey, let me be your salty dog. Let me be your salty dog. I won't be your man at all. Honey, let me be your salty dog. Pull trigger and the guns say go. Shot fell over in Mexico. Honey, let me be your salty dog. Let me be your salty dog. I don't wanna be your man at all. Honey, let me be your salty dog. Something like that. I'm not quite sure how I want to end it. That is a little bit of Salty Dog Blues, or Old Salty Dog Blues. It's a really old song, and it's has a ragtime influence on it, so we can figure it came about somewhere around 1900. Just say maybe as far back as 1890, maybe as far up as 1910, but right in the 1900 era. And it's from what's called the cycle fifths. It's a little bit more of a sophisticated chord progression. And it's a unique song in that it is in the key of C, but the only time you really hit the C chord, at least in most of the versions I've heard, is doing little runs like this. You're actually implying the key of C throughout it, which is why it sounded a little abrupt when I went down to C at the end. I should have figured out a better way to end it, and something I have to work on. I just kind of came up with this recently, like yesterday. I was listening to Mississippi John Hurt's version, and he recorded it in the... well, I think the only time he did it was live, and the lyrics weren't great, and it of course reminded me of the Flatt and Scruggs bluegrass version, and I like their lyrics better, and I can understand them better, but it's really, the first version of the song that I know of that was recorded was Papa Charlie Jackson in the 1920s. Now, this is interesting because Papa Charlie was a great influence on both blues and bluegrass. He starts out down in Louisiana, and he's playing in more of a Dixieland-influenced style. Like I said, cycle fifths. He plays a six-string banjo, so he would have played with a lot of jazz bands, as well as being a blues performer. These songs, this was what was called a hokum song, and that would have been popular in the medicine shows and the minstrel shows, and that's a lot of the kind of places he would have been playing. It's pre-vaudeville. There's a jazz and blues influence on the music. There's a country influence on the music, and it's really great stuff. I actually love the music from the old medicine shows and such. Anyway, he moves from Louisiana up to Bowling Green, Kentucky, and he brings essentially Louisiana style blues playing up to Kentucky, and became a huge influence on Bill Monroe and all the bluegrass guys. So big influence on blues, especially Mississippi John Hurt. He did several Papa Charlie Jackson songs. Big influence on bluegrass and country. And he also played with jazz bands. And so pretty solid influence, on early jazz as well. Great guitar player. Like I say, he plays 6-string banjo, and usually with a pick, as best I can tell. And let's get into the song a little bit. So, like I said, I'm implying the key of C. Now, there's probably another way to do this. Like I said, I listened to several old versions, and I try to figure out what they were coming up with. And then I also listened to the old Flatt and Scruggs version, and that was a little different. Meter's a little different in all of them. Everybody did it their own way, and some people would resolve to C and then go back to E. Some people didn't. I don't know why it just felt more comfortable for me to play it this way. I just have to come up with a good ending. I'm not sure what this is going to be yet. Maybe something like that, or where I did that little. That would be a good ending. Or since I'm finishing up here, let's see. Maybe I could do something. I'd have to put in the right key, maybe. But yeah, or even something like really, kind of sophisticated. That's a very good possibility. See, I'd want to get the C, but I'd want to get the kind of the G there too. Yeah, get that, about the C and G down here. You could do like that. I like that, actually. That would probably be the way I will figure out around the ending when this comes together. So, because it's someone saying, "Honey, let me be your soldier." Yeah, I like that. I'm going to come up with something on there. Maybe. I don't know. It's something along those lines. Well, let's get back to the song. You can come up with your tag. Hey, if you come up with a really good ending that you like, send me a video. I'd like to see what you come up with. Like I said, I just literally put this together. So we're going to start off with this little bass run. And now we've established this in the key of C. The ear is hearing. And if you only did that once, everybody's still going to know it's in the key of C. Now, you could play it down here with an open E7. You want to do it like that? E7, A7, E7 to A7. D7. G7. For my voice and, I don't know, for the thumb style, it just felt better to play it up here. So I'm going to take a C7 chord and slide it up till it becomes a E7, a C, D, E, right? And that way I can alternate this bass. So it works better with my voice and it works better with my style. And then I'm playing the A7 here, so F, G, A. I have an F-shaped chord. D7. G7, back to E7, A7, D7, G7. Cycle fifths works this way. Each chord is the fifth of the one that comes before it. So if I start on E7, that's E, F, G, let's see, that's 4. I counted the wrong way. So you can also call it cycle fourths because you can count it either way. So A, B, C, D, E. So E is the fifth of A. So you go from E7 to A7. If it's easier if you think if you're counting in fours, go the other way. Go E, F, G, A. It works the same way because look at this. Next is going to be D7. A, B, C, D, or D, E, F, G, A. Do it however you like. Most people call it cycle fifths. The early books written in like the 20s call it the cycle fourths. It just depends on which way you're counting. And you end up on G7, which of course G7 is the fifth of C. It resolves on C. So the chords again being E7, A7, D7, G7, and C. Or C. Whatever, right? So you're just playing around with that, and wherever you like it. If you want to do it up here open, if you want to do it down here, it really doesn't matter. So I'll just play it one time. Alright. Then maybe you want to do another bass run. I like kind of put that before I start singing. So, or you can play it here. Either way, start on the 8th fret and go down. same notes, if that's more comfortable for you. And you're right back into it. And then we're going to do some breaks, right? We want to vary this up. So let's change to this position of E7. But we'll go use the same A shape and just kind of move the finger around a bit. And then whatever D7 you want to play, you can do the same as we have been before. Let's try this one now. This is that Merle Travis shaped E or D or C chord, 7th. So we got here, and this is the one I'm playing up here. Move the same chord down, all right, and then like that. That was my first break. So again, it was. Well, let's do it this way. Second break, I decided to come down and give some variation and to open E7, A7, and I'm using that open E string along with the G note and the F note, D7, and again just drop my finger on the G there because it just sounds good, and went to G and then D7, A7, D7, that's apparently a Reverend Gary Davis lick. Picked it up somewhere in one of Stephen Grossman's books. In fact, I think he does in that book, Complete Country Blues Guitar or something. I think it was a Mel Bay book that Stephen Grossman did. Yeah, he has a version of Solid Dog Blues as well, which is, if I remember correctly, quite different than what I'm playing. But that lick is in one of those tunes somewhere in that book. And I think he played it, let me see. Yeah. Yeah, just go. And you're back to the verse, right? So, third break I did, slide up here. That's A, B, C, D, E7 again, right? That's the same shaped, you know, where we had our D7 or E7. We're all the way up to A7 here. I like that, yeah. So where have I gone with this? I'm going to G7. And this time I'm using the C chord because I want to do this. And then back here. Alright, and so I'm basically skipping the D7 in here, but I'm implying it by getting these little extra notes because, okay, see, I've also got a D7 right here. So when I'm here, I'm actually getting enough notes of that D7. So I'm not really changing my finger position out that much, but I've got my A7 here and my D7 here, and so just by pulling off that finger a little bit, I'm playing essentially two chords at once. So it works for the ear. And then on this one, like I said, if I can use that C because it sounds so good, or so play around with that, see if you like it. You know, that's again, it's just a little break that I came up with. You don't have to play things the way I play them. In fact, you probably really shouldn't. something like, or yeah, something like that, right? I like that. It's going to take a little figuring out, but it's one of those things I just came up with on the fly, literally while talking to you. So that'll take a little work. It's a fun song, and the blues version is generally in the key of C, and that is the most common cycle-fifth key used. That's like what all the old ragtime and hokum songs were written in, was the key of C. The bluegrass version is not. If I remember correctly, it's probably in G, the Flatt and Scruggs version. So if you play it in a bluegrass band, you're going to have to change keys. But you can play the same patterns. Just move your chords around. It was either G or D. I mean, almost all bluegrass is played in either the key of G or the key of D. So if it's D, just slide everything up 2 frets, all these chords that we just used. If it's in the key of G, you're going to have to figure that out. It's going to have to move around a little bit. Anyway, y'all, have a good one, and I have another tune for you next week. As always, if you have any questions, email me judson@judsoncarroll.com, or leave a question or comment in the comment section below the video. Always remember, like and subscribe, and share it with your friends, family, and loved ones, and I'll have another tune for you next week. Have fun with this one. It's a very fun tune. It's kind of addictive to start playing through it and figuring out all those little variations you can do there. I mean, you could really get some kind of banjo roll types of stuff going in there, or you could make it a lot more loose with, like, that, or, one of my always favorites, so, anything like that. Just, play around with it and have fun. That's the bottom line. This is one of the fun tunes. This is like really the difference between like the Piedmont style blues and the more like deep Delta and Texas blues that are like gut wrenching. No, this is fun stuff. This is from the hokum shows. This is the minstrel shows and the medicine shows when people paid a few cents to get in and have a good time, and that's what it was all about. It was blowing off steam, and it's fairly family friendly actually. So it could get a little dirty. Some of those lyrics did, but people took life real serious back then. Very serious, and they needed that escape, and I think that's very true now. I think music has really gotten too serious. I think life's certainly gotten too serious. I think we all could benefit by something like the old medicine shows, something where there's live entertainment and maybe a juggling act and a band and just that kind of crazy stuff they used to do. Comedy, lots of comedy. I mean, like Abbott and Costello type of stuff. I mean, that was really popular, and they lifted a lot of their routines from the old medicine shows. Guys like Emmett Miller and such that did those comedy routines. So anyway, y'all, have a great week. I'll talk to you next time.